I received a question from somebody in the United States, and she asks, I am uncomfortable with having an altar with pictures of Jesus Christ and gurus and saints. It seems like idolatry to me when I'm meditating to achieve union with God, who has no physical attributes. I just read an autobiography how young Mukunda, Yogananda, and his mother were worshipping, quote-unquote, before the picture of Lahiri Mahashai. Although I know the picture was special to them, it still seems like idolatry. Well, this is a very important and very fruitful question to ask. I had a very long reply in my response, so I'll try to touch on some of the points. First off, as Westerners, with our Judeo-Christian teachings, we've been taught to abhor idolatry, the worship of false gods. But, even in the Catholic tradition, there were statues of saints, and more than anything, statues of Jesus and his mother and so forth, towards which devotion is expressed. Many miracles have taken place as a result of devotion in this way. But more than that, I want to say as an aside, idolatry isn't just worshiping idols, so to speak. I'll come back to that. Think of idolatry as the worship of money, of pleasure, of power, of status and fame. This is real idolatry. When Moses came down with the tablets of the Ten Commandments from Mount Sinai and found the Israelites worshiping a golden calf, I really doubt they were worshiping a golden calf. I think what that meant is they had resorted to ego-active affirmations for status. They didn't have money out in the desert, but they were probably getting into all sorts of trouble. I'll just put it that way. And so this is the true form of idolatry. Let's start at the beginning. When the creation was made by the one absolute God that you are worshiping, as you put it in your letter, that Spirit, God, created this universe from himself, herself, whatever. There wasn't anything there. So all that exists is a manifestation, even if well disguised, a manifestation of that spiritual essence. Not that I'm suggesting we worship all creation. That's not the point, unless, like St. Francis, we are acknowledging that everything in creation has not just been made by God, but is a manifestation of Spirit, because there is nothing else. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is one. That's the great Jewish mantra. Tattvamasi, thou art that in Sanskrit. Thou art one. So when there is a saintly person, especially one who has achieved oneness, has achieved self-realization, God-realization of their oneness with all creation, then they act as an instrument, a symbol, a crystal, as it were, to reflect and transmit that oneness to those who could have eyes to see and ears to hear. So the worship of a saint or master, especially, as I say, the true gurus, is to worship what they symbolize, to worship what they bring to bear and have manifested. Not that they are God in the all-encompassing sense, but that the divine has manifested through them in a fully awakened, enlightened state that, let's face it, most of us are not quite there yet. So, to honor those who have achieved such a state, and to honor them because they appear in order to help us achieve such a state, is really what's going on. And relative to the idolatry as I defined it earlier, there's a lot worse things a person could do. To love Jesus Christ or Buddha or Yogananda and these great masters as incarnations, as divine incarnations. well, there's just a lot worse one could do. So be easy on people. They, as I say, they could be doing a lot worse than that. Now, when Krishna, Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, was asked this very question, Arjuna, his disciple, asked, well, what's better? Should I worship God or seek God in the absolute, perfect philosophy, if you will? Or should I worship God through you as Krishna or through some form, name and form? Krishna said that for embodied incarnate humans, it's much easier, more natural to worship the divine in some name and form. The path of the Absolute is really for those who are well advanced on the spiritual path and who have truly outgrown the need, the value of name and form. But those who think they have should be forewarned, because in that case, if one seeks beyond name and form, then you don't think about food, you don't think about rest, you don't even need to meditate, because you are communing with the Absolute. How many devotees, meditators, are ready for that very strict and austere path? So I said to her, be kind to your worshiping friends. And they're not all that amiss. I could get into the philosophy of it, but I don't know that that would be all that valuable. But open your heart and open your mind to the fact that God is one. God is in everything. Try to see the divine presence in this world, even in suffering, even in evil, as souls, as beings move their way along the path toward ever greater truth, without suffering, no one would ask the questions. Nobody would seek the truth that can make us free.